Hello, my name is Maggie McNutt, and I'm a school librarian, an author, and a poet. Today I'm going to do a reading of my original poetry for you. This is my contribution to Poetry at Large's festival, which was canceled due to concerns surrounding COVID-19. I was invited this year to speak at the Poetry Cafe as a guest poet, and I am disappointed that I was unable to do so. I was looking forward to it, and I was looking forward to sharing my work. Hence, I'm using the internet to continue to share my work despite everything that is going on and to celebrate National Poetry Month, which is always in April. Before I start, I just want to share my condolences with the people of Colchester County, especially those who lost loved ones last weekend. I am from Nova Scotia. I was raised here and I live here. And the Nova Scotia I know is a beautiful province. It's full of warm people, strong people, people who have welcomed me into their homes and fed me and cared for me. I have put down my roots here, and I love this province more than anywhere else in the world. I've traveled to Europe, and I've been in South America and other parts of Canada, but always I feel the need to come home and to come back to Nova Scotia. This one example, this one tragedy is not Nova Scotia. It does not represent Nova Scotia. This act was nothing short of evil, and there are no answers, no reasons that could ever justify this or explain it. Doesn't matter what he was thinking or feeling, this was an act of evil, and to those people who lost loved ones, I am so sorry for your loss. I cannot even begin to express my condolences. My words fail me, and I cannot begin to imagine the pain you are feeling. I have not attempted to write a poem or anything surrounding the event because I feel that it is neither my place nor my skill to be able to do so. There are so many other beautiful artists who I believe can capture that event in a way that I just would not be able to, and all I can offer to those people is my love and my condolences. And I just hope that you can feel your community surrounding you. I hope that you can feel the way Nova Scotians are surrounding you and supporting you, and that other people all around the country are surrounding you and just pouring out their love on you. Nothing could ever make up for your loss, but I just pray that you know you are not alone in this. Today I'm going to read to you from both of my original poetry collections. The first one is finished, and I have been looking for a publisher for it for a couple years now. It's called Love Songs of the Disillusioned. This collection follows a female narrator as she grows up and she reaches a stage where she's starting to realize that her childhood dreams are not coming true and that life is harder than she expected, and there's more to it and it's more painful than she expected, and she's trying to find her voice and kind of losing it at the same time as she's left adrift in this world. My new collection is called Hysterical White Girl. Hysterical White Girl is what I'm working on right now, and it is very different in tone. It is angry, it is feisty, it is sad, it is passionate. Hysterical White Girl is my response to gender and social and racial issues that I see occurring. The title also refers to the fact that usually when I bring these concerns up to people, when I tell them about something that I know is sexist, or I see something that's racist, or a different issue, they dismiss me. They dismiss me as, oh, Megan's being emotional again, or it's not that big of a deal, why can't I as a white person make this joke, or blah, blah, blah. And they don't realize that there is a deeper issue, a disease in society that is occurring underneath the words they are saying. So Hysterical White Girl also contains possible triggers for women who have been victims of sexual assault. I just want to put that out there before I start reading, just so that you know I don't want to bring up any difficult emotions. 1 in 4 women in North America is sexually assaulted. I don't know numbers for other countries. It could be more, it could be less. But that statistic is just disgusting. It's outrageous. It sickens me, and I don't understand why more people are not upset about this. Yes, I acknowledge that men and boys are also victims of sexual assault, but 1 in 4 women, that is a crazy percentage. And even women who are not victims of sexual assault still have to deal with everyday sexism. I have not been a victim of sexual assault, but I have had old men come into my workplace for the sole purpose of coming in to flirt with me and commenting about my appearance, which is not okay. I have had men the age of my father ask me out at my workplace. I once was, felt up under the table at college by some guy, and that was not okay. And I also was young and naive, and I did not respond to it. I should have been like, back the heck off, but I didn't, because I'd been trained to be this docile girl. In high school, I said no to a boy asking me out, and he went around and called me a slut, which everyone who probably heard him say that was like, are you crazy? Like, everybody in the whole world knows that this girl is a virgin. Like, it's not happening. But these kind of things happen to women every day. And sometimes the hardest part for me is that I have gone to other women to talk about this, and I have gotten answers like, oh, he's harmless, or oh, don't worry about it, or you just need to handle it. No, that is not okay. Women need to be supporting each other, and they need to be there for each other. So that is the essence of Hysterical White Girl, and I hope that you enjoy the poetry that comes out of it. I'm going to start with Hysterical White Girl, because some of those poems are just more hard-hitting, and then I'm going to read a couple of poems from Love Songs of the Disillusioned. The first one I'm going to read for you is called Not Like Other Girls. Not Like Other Girls was originally written for International Women's Day in 2019. And it's just based off something I read, how boys will try to kind of flatter girls by saying, oh, you're not like any other girl I've ever met. So here goes. Don't tell me you like me, because I am not like other girls. As if separation from my sisters, dissection of and isolation from my gender is meant as a high compliment. Should I be thankful you chose me, O epitome of man? Not like other girls. He makes me feel guilty for saying no. Did he not pluck me from obscurity and attempt to cure my singleness? Others tell me to give him a try, as if I owe him for snatching me from the comforting sea of femininity, allowing me to define myself by his phallic status. He believes his male attention entitles him to his choice of me and not other girls. Not like other girls. Labels and categories stuffed into suffocating subdivisions, lifeless limitations, definitions used to divide, disseminate women into groups. You must not be anything else. Do not delineate from what we call you. Pitting sister against sister, trampled, broken, defeated, they know as a whole we are strong. The surest way to vanquish a woman is to turn her against other women and indoctrinate her with the belief these ideas were her own. I am sold clothing, undergarments, cosmetics, hygiene products, kitchen appliances, fancy stationery, definitions of womanhood and feminine experience by fat men squeezed into deep-pocketed tailored suits with tight wallets under the tagline, "You don't have to be like other girls." They claim superiority, claim to know womanhood and what women want, because of the languid snake curled between their legs, arrogant and penetrating, a head with no brain. These men are paid more than their female colleagues, who are damned to inferiority, not because they are underqualified, these beautiful-minded women, but because they are castrated versions of their male counterparts. I am sold my own sexuality by men who will never know the vaginal power of acceptance and release, the agony and ecstasy to create and sustain life. torn and ejected blood, the life and the oracle of death. Like other girls, but unlike them, hidden away once a month, huddled together in red tents and unclean rags, barred from schools. It's that time of month again, isn't it? Devalued emotions as hormones. Here, try a tampon. Extra absorbency. Terrified of leaks. Why is it shameful if people know your body is designed to create life? 25 cents from the dispensary in the bathroom. Guess whose pockets those quarters are lining? Not like other girls. Judgments cast like stones. She is, I am not. I am, she is not. She has not. Men taught me the words I use to fill in the blanks, the traits that make a woman worthy, make her a real woman, as if my own identity were fake, an illusion I've been under all my life, and the life I could bring forth in myself, for myself, was useless unless it resulted from his misogynistic sperm. I am not like other girls, because I am me, beautiful and flawed. They are themselves, a beautiful collection of unique individuals, a mosaic of identity and experience. I am not like other girls. I am a part of them, and they are a part of me. So the next two I want to read you are brand new. One of them I actually just wrote last night. So it's actually in its very first draft, so I apologize. It won't be very polished. So this was actually inspired by the line of that song, and goes, look what you made me do, I'm with somebody new. Every time I hear that song, it peeves me off. I get really mad, and here's why. So this poem is called You Made Me. 3 little words become 6, innocuous like beads of water. Drops in the ocean form a tidal wave to sweep you away. But you stay, because he swears he loves you. 6 little words form the most dangerous sentence in any relationship. Look what you made me do. Hurled insults and screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning. Calls you names men invented solely to degrade women. Used your passcode on your phone because he's the only one entitled to privacy. Scrolls through your texts and contacts. Accuses you of cheating because the boy you grew up with or a friend from college invited you to coffee just to catch up. You made me jealous. You made me look. He's the symptom, but you're the disease. Little inconsistencies add up until one day the inevitable, and your suspicions are confirmed. You catch him in bed with another woman. Through the weeping and arguing, he doesn't apologize, but justifies. You made me cheat for reasons X, Y, and Z. You don't satisfy me in bed. You're too distant. You haven't kept yourself up. You've gotten old. Bruises like splotches of eggplant spattered on her skin, broken bones and fractures. These are just the surface. Deeper wounds in her soul may never heal. He's twisted the way you think about yourself. Look what you made me do. Like it's your fault, his rage becomes a tornado, destroying everything in its path. Look what you made me do. That's not a warning sign. It's a flashing and blaring siren screaming, get the hell out. Diagnose misogyny and there's no cure. He claims to love you but can't accept blame, can't be accountable, shoves it all onto you. A narcissist, staring at his distorted reflection in a filthy pond. Honey, you need to get out. You can't save him, can't change him. Eventually he's going to drown, and he'll drown you too. So I've been thinking about that one for a while, but I finally put it down last night. So this next one is also in a similar vein. This one is called Burden of Proof, and it's also in its first draft. and it's about sexual assault. Guilty until proven innocent in a court of law. If you're the victim of sexual assault, the burden of proof weighs on your shoulders, your consent automatic assumed, unless you can prove otherwise, and you won't be able to. They'll attack your character, make you the assailant, the accuser. You ruined this man's life. You're a liar, a manipulator, a failure, a slut. She was wearing a short skirt, high heels, lipstick the color of red wine in a glass, drinking champagne, vodka, Mai Tais, eating cherries on the stem, laughing, dancing, swaying, flirting. She was just asking for it right. She said, "I've had too much to drink." She said, "I have a boyfriend." She said, "Ow." She said nothing. She was unconscious, drunk. She blacked out. But she never said no, right? How can he be blamed, punished, for his basic carnal instincts? Doesn't he deserve to have them fulfilled? Isn't that a woman's role on this earth? 4 in 1 women experience sexual assault. Too many of the total population. Women wearing masks trying to hide themselves because they've been taught it's their fault they were raped. Boys will be boys. She should have known better, done better. Shame on her for his intentional decision. You don't accidentally find you shoved your penis up a vagina like misplaced keys. Oops, is that where I left it? I might extend that one a little bit, and you can see kind of the scathing attitude I have there. This one's not a gender issue, but it's still a social issue, and I wrote this one originally for River Words last year in Truro, and I read it for the first time last July, probably July, I think. So this one's called Maternal Units of the 21st Century. Screens are raising our children. Creative play died at the end of the millennium. Y2K was secretly code for kids whose birth years would begin with computer code and who would never know life without the internet. There are no iPads allowed while I'm babysitting. No Apple products of any kind except those grown in the beautiful Nova Scotian Valley. She talks to me of Siri like she is speaking of her best friend. Babysitting with Megan includes an afternoon of art. Paint dollops 3 inches thick, smears of color on stainless t-shirts, and splatters on the kitchen table. Color experimentation in plastic palettes and on fingertips. I tell her, in art, anything goes. We commandeer kitchen items to create new shapes. We try portraits in acrylic. She asked me to tell her what to do. Instructions on drawing me. How do I explain my self-perception to a child who has never pondered what songs the stars sing? Shapes refuse to bend to her will, and none of the shades are right. I tell her, create a new person. No template, make-believe. Haven't you ever imagined people and stories in your head? No, she has not. Playing Barbies, she gives them all one name, the same voice. She cannot remember any others. Multitudes do not exist within her. She reenacts scenes from television shows without substance or depth, aborted half-stories and teenage dramas she does not comprehend. She regurgitates nonsense while my lone Barbie, all I am allotted, has already become the first veterinarian, pastries chef, warrior princess to live in outer space. Has anyone tried to show her the value of blank white pages and boxes of 96 Crayola crayons, of blotted letters and bits of string, in creating a world all her own? And how many children do you have? You snap, smug, because you know the answer is 0. Lonely and empty as my uterus, round as the desolate eggs deteriorating with each passing year, babies I'll never hold. I didn't realize being childless disqualified me from understanding the basic needs and desires found in children. No offense, but even a cow can give birth. Licks the calf clean, inherent maternal instinct, offers herself for her babe to suckle, and doesn't berate him, you little brat. Claim him a nuisance for having such needs to live. 11 years old, he spends every day at the library, glued to a computer screen, thinks leveling up on Roblox is an achievement, shows the younger kids mediocre card tricks, and prattles on to me unceasingly about everything. Schoolwork and computer games, cartoons and friends, clinical depression and alphabet diagnoses, the last time he ate. During the hour I close the library for supper, he settles out in the cold, quiet as the snow, makes himself a ghost to blend into the brickwork. Can't you go home, I ask. He's not my responsibility, but I can't leave him there. There's no one home, he says. A shrug, another typical day, and I don't have a key. Deemed old enough to be left alone for hours wherever he is, but not old enough to have earned a key to his own house. Are you afraid he'll raid the refrigerator, break the Xbox you purchased instead of buying him a new coat? I walk him to a restaurant and shepherd him inside. Order him a slice of pepperoni pizza and a can of soda. No nutritional value, but more food than he's eaten all day. Stay here until I reopen. They won't kick you out. You're a paying customer. He shrugs again, but does not remove his coat. Outside my family, his becomes the most constant and familiar face I know. Every day I work, there he is without fail. From the end of school until I lock the door at night. How can I not get attached? I of the too soft heart. The library becomes more than stacks of books he can barely read or access to the internet. He tells me almost everything, sometimes naps on a beanbag in the back room. This is his safe place, home away from home. He greets every patron who enters, and when he holds open the door for an elderly lady with a walker, books stacked on it a mile high, I say, I'm proud of you. I wish, he responds, my mom would say that to me. I have a mom, a mother, mommy, mama, mom, ma, Angela, can you hear me calling your name? Who stroked my hair when I was sick, made me sandwiches for school day lunches, and taught me to draw birds in the sky, wide letter M's for wingspan, baked sideways birthday cakes and chocolate chip cookies, bandaged scrapes and bloody knees, but encouraged me to remount my bike, dried tears with double-ply tissues, and yelled at the boy who insulted my face, washed my hair in stinky socks, cups I discovered under the bed days later, always, always kiss me goodnight. I never knew a day she didn't say I love you. He has a biological parental unit equipped with a vagina, who once popped him out of her birth canal, for which she claims he owes her, although she has hardly bothered with him since that day. She chooses her new boyfriend over him, moves to another town with another man, and for months he awaits her return. Holds out hope, even when the other kids can see, despite her promises, she's not coming back for him anytime soon. He tells me I am like a mother to him, a constant caring woman in his life. He moved last Christmas, his 3 siblings and him, with his mother's ex-boyfriend, who loves him despite the lack of blood ties. He was there one day, gone the next, disappeared like he had never existed. A piece of my heart confused and displaced. Don't tell me that I don't have a heart as maternal and full as another woman's, just because I have never birthed a child. So those poems are kind of heavy. So I'm already 24 minutes in, but a lot of that was talking. So I just want to read a couple of shorter poems from my other collection, Love Songs of the Disillusioned, and then we'll just wrap up. Okay, this one's called Nature's Children. Grandfather was a hunter. his yard full of archaic remains. I smelled death as a child but didn't recognize his scent. The young and invincible cannot fathom finality. I had more experience with corpses than with living animals. The coyotes were my favorites. They reminded me of dogs sleeping softly in the snow. We thought by the sheer force of our naive will and imaginations we could restore them to life. Made magic circles of red berries and whatever else we unearthed, prayed in our pretty child language, danced and waited, called to our beautiful canine cousin to join us in life again. We didn't know Frankenstein used electricity. There's an entire science to reanimation. When you're young, anything is possible. A few years ago, a girl north of town was mauled to death by 2 coyotes. Now I always keep an eye open walking my dog near the woods. When I first heard them howl, I envisioned hellhounds and knew fear. But when coyotes cry, they sound like children. This one is called Fairytales, and I actually wrote it after I had a class with my favorite professor, Jennifer Maye. I took children's literature with her, and she did a class on fairy tales and their original origins. So this is what this one is based off. Cinderella's stepsisters severed their toes for a chance at true love. What's a little body mutilation if you can marry a prince? The little mermaid sold herself to a slippery sea witch because she loved a man who loved another. Each step was agony, the land betrayed her. Jack was a covetous murderer and thief. Sleeping Beauty slept 100 years. Beauty initially abandoned the beast. Rapunzel lost her hair, her prince his eyes. Alice dreamt her trip to Wonderland. My entire life, Disney has lied to me, replaced harsh reality with happy songs. You expect it as a child. The lies cushion the blow of disappointment because the nostalgia for hope always remains. But I have no excuse now for them to keep lying to me, to keep lying to myself, to expect different results when I should know better. The price of a movie ticket is the cost of a sense of satisfaction completely separate from my own circumstances and the market value of my honesty. If insanity is defined by doing the same acts again and again, expecting different results, what does that make me? This one is the first poem in Love Songs of the Disillusioned. It's called Childhood Kingdoms. Thanks for the kingdom of years ago, apple blossom rains, fairyland meadows, songs of the ocean, make-believe and tire swings in faithful old maples. Nova Scotia is green and blue in summer, silver and ice in winter, pregnant moon and wood smoke, ice skates and snow forts. Happiness is a little white house. I dreamed of a dark river, the stream of childhood. I bent to wash my hands but had no reflection, and I drowned. Opaque city falsifies transparency. I haven't been back there since. All I knew of the world, towns where everyone knows your name, arms plunged in mud up to the elbow, bright rubber boots, watermelon seeds, red and blue swimsuits, dancing in the rain. My shadow's name is Little Sister. Who knew she'd be taller than me? My only mode of transportation, my own 2 feet and pedals. Best friend is always there beside me, with brown eyes and a spirit full of adventure. We could build castles out of anything. I miss the days I even mentioned it. I think it was actually 7 years ago, which is crazy how time flies. I did a semester in England at Oxford University, and to anyone who was there with me, you're going to know exactly who this is about, but this is about an Irish lecturer we had who I was insanely attracted to. So this one's a little more romantic in nature. It's called The Boy in the Sweater. Days like today remind him of cool days in February, standing with her in the mist outside the gate, and her questions that day in March, in the radiance of the sunlight through the window, perched on the radiator with a book, a word and a smile, and he perceived her for the first time and wanted her, like Rochester wanting Jane Eyre, yearning for the magic trapped inside her soul, just beyond the facade. That's not her. He craves her, the last picture of Dorian Gray, art for art's sake, embodied in faded blue jeans. God, she's beautiful. He says her name in his silvery accent, like an Irish Don Juan, the world's great lover, and doesn't know she bleeds tears and pixie dust, blue and gold in the twilight. She is one indiscretion, one fall away from betraying her right to remain silent until proven otherwise. Her attention won't stay fixed on words or the mahogany table and a dozen faces, because her mind is full of Lancelot and visions of what he must look like without his librarian sweater, the feel of his arms holding her at night. She wants to walk inside his mind by the pale light of a crescent moon and see if any of the magic within her lives inside him too. His silence speaks louder than words, but he refuses to be the one to confess sentiments he has only ever read, because she's lovely and he's terrified she's just an image. I will end with this one. This one is called Nova Scotia Musings. And it's my love letter to Nova Scotia. I wrote it about 5 or 6 years ago, probably 5 years ago, after moving home from Ottawa. So this is just the image I want to leave you with of Nova Scotia. It's called Nova Scotian Musings. If you want to be successful, leave Nova Scotia. They equated leaving with the capability of making something of myself, as though a person needs to build herself in bits and pieces, experiences that require an upheaval of her life's roots. I returned with more debt, but less of the sunburned self I left behind years ago, joined the ranks of the unemployed, another victim of an unstable economy. Uncertainty is the word everyone speaks. Everybody wants money, but nobody has it. Now they are clear-cutting trees along my favorite stretch of road, where old oaks and maples, a pine here or there, stretch out their branches to shade the cracked pavement and kiss the sky. In autumn, leaves of fire, in winter, naked bark. For the sake of $1, annihilate the lasting legacy of breath and creation that birthed generations destined to destroy it. Wasteland. On the economic map of Canada, Nova Scotia is the buildings of Halifax, the coastlines and fisheries, the lumber mills, and yet still manages to bear little importance in the grand scheme or financial growth of the nation. All these people attach price tags to my home, the province of forests and shining waters, of beauty and blossoming childhoods and orchards. Priceless. My favorite colors, the fresh green of spring, stretching out in a pink horizon, dark like the ocean, waves that beat against rocks and black clouds, power and strength that made me realize my own insignificance. And blue, our flag in the endless sky, sturdy and loyal like our people. Cozy kitchens and fiddle music, the brown of trees and dusty asphalt, back roads driving 20 kilometers an hour. If contentment had a color, it would look like the cool, clean air filling my lungs. Nova Scotia taught me how to love. While I was in England, people asked me, "What do you miss most about home?" "Maple trees," I said, and they laughed. The rolling British fields were picturesque, but did not inspire the strength, beauty, love, and awe of maple trees, their open leaves, flat palms beckoning me home, promising shelter and imagination. If you want to live, come to Nova Scotia. She will fill your heart with music and teach you the language of trees. You'll dig yourself roots that last a lifetime. I tried the steel grey of Ontario, equated achievement with skyscrapers, boasting of wealth and rivaling trees and their ability to reach for stars. But the sun still shines brighter in Nova Scotia. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you very much for listening. If you would be so kind, please leave me a comment and tell me which of the poems you like best. I would like to upload a couple of them to the CBC Canada Writes Literary Prizes. The Poetry Prize is open until the end of May. So just let me know which ones you think are best, and also maybe try it yourself. It's a $25 entrance fee. Thank you so much for joining me and for celebrating Poetry Month with me. Thank you.